Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and today we're doing 8 game reviews in 8 minutes. Very specific, but we're going to go ahead and give ourselves a minute per game to go over a bunch of the boxes off to the side. You can't see them, but let's go ahead and start this off. We have my handy dandy timer over here ready to go. We're going to go ahead and hit go on that, and starting off with the first minute, we're going to give to Hedgehog Hop. I will say, by the way, I'll get somebody in the comments down below who'll be like, I wish you didn't arbitrarily limit yourself to a minute. I wish you actually just talked about the game. I hear you, but this is a drop more fun. Also, I'm down to 47 seconds. Hedgehog Hop is a series of small box games. This is a fun little game system that I had a chance to play this one. Well, obviously I had a chance to play this one. I enjoy what Hedgehog Hop is doing, but it's also very much a lighter, pocket-sized game that, you know, travel, have fun with it. Ultimately, you're going to be having these various hedgehogs, and these hedgehogs are being pushed onto a grid, and you're trying to be mindful that you're going to score based off the last hedgehog you have in your hand. You're going to be trying to arrange the grid, sliding hedgehogs around. There's a limited amount of control you have in the game. It is a fun little experience, but not necessarily a keeper of an experience. I think it's a good pocket game. I think it's a fun time. To me, this is enjoyable and fun to play, and I do recommend it, but I don't necessarily know if it's a keeper. In fact, I'm not even sure if I'm keeping it right now. I've played it like 4 or 5 times. I like it. I think it's fun, and to me, it's a 3.5 out of 5. Turns out I needed those extra few seconds. We're down to 55 seconds on the next one. So, next one over here is going to be Ecosystem Savanna. This is actually an easy one to cover because I've already reviewed the previous 2 ecosystem games. This is coming to you from Genius Games, and they brought, they had Ecosystem, and they had the water one, I can't remember what it's called, but they had another ecosystem that was more aquatic based, and now they have Ecosystem Savanna, which arguably is my favorite of the 3. They're all good games. This one doesn't drastically differ. This is a game that's going to be drafting. You're drafting cards and trying to build out a tableau of cards. So you're building out a little 20 card tableau of cards, each one scoring in different ways, and so it comes down to the draft, and I like it. I like Ecosystem Savanna. I think it's the best one of the group. I don't think it's enough to change my score of any of them. I think it's a fun game that I'd give a solid 3.5 out of 5 to. I think it's fun. I think it's engaging. I think it's a small box game that gives you a lot of drafting, plays well at various player counts. My big critique was the 2-player mode. I thought the 2-player drafting was a little weak, but overall, I do very much enjoy this. Ecosystem Savanna, a solid 3.5 out of 5. Again, a bunch of these might be 3.5s out of 5s. We have Zombie Teenz. 3.5s in general are just the games that I like, but I'm not necessarily excited about. I do like Ecosystem. I wonder how long it sticks around. We have Zombie Teenz over here. That's going to be my next one. Zombie Teenz is going to be coming from Scorpion Mask. It is the follow-up to Zombie Kids. I already reviewed Zombie Kids on the channel. I like Zombie Kids. I like Zombie Teenz too. This gives you more unlocking, more of a legacy system designed around kids. You're going to be wandering around the map trying to deliver packages to the center while dealing with the various things that are going to pop out or the various upgrades you're going to unlock. Powers for yourself, meaner zombies, things like that. I think it's a good evolution of the Zombie Kids system. I don't think it's more complicated, it's just more of it. So to me, another fun Zombie Kids game, another 3.5 out of 5. I will happily, I'm not finished this one yet, I'm like halfway through the campaign, I will happily finish this with my kids and have a good time doing so. Then we get to Head Trip over here, which I guess Head Trip's not going to be a 3.5 out of 5. Head Trip's going to go a little bit lower for me, but Head Trip is coming to you from Cards Against Humanity, and it's a cooperative trivia game in which the goal is to get in each other's heads. In Head Trip, you're going to have these bunch of cards over here, and these cards are going to give you questions and also personalities. So the goal of the game is to get yourself into the personality. You are currently a person after 4 margaritas. You've had your 4th margarita, and you're answering the question from that stance. Meanwhile, what's the question? What's your email address? BigPapa@gmail, yahoo.com, Big Hot Take. There's a lot of these over here. These questions over here are incredibly inappropriate, as you might expect from a Cards Against Humanity game. The concept of getting in each other's heads while cooperatively trying to figure it all out together, it does work well. I like the principle. It's trivia, but not from like a general stance, but from like, what would, you know, drunk Stalin answer this question? So I like that concept very much. The actual game for me, not as much for me. I think it's about 75% hot takes of inappropriate stuff, very Cards Against Humanity. That's just not my jam. So the concept of the game, I like. I think it's interesting. The execution is mostly, you know, sex jokes and things like that. And so maybe a 3. I did enjoy it despite myself, but I enjoyed it without wanting to play it more. If that makes sense. Like, I actively don't want to continue playing the game while being intrigued by it at the same time. Next up, we have Minecraft Heroes of the Village. This is a fun game. I like Minecraft Heroes of the Village. It's a cooperative game in the Minecraft universe. I've already played or reviewed Minecraft Builders and Biomes. This one's going to have you defending a village against the various invading Minecraft hordes, and ultimately every turn you're wandering around trying to gather resources so you can build the various buildings and finish it off. I'd say this is probably a 2.5 for me, a 2.5 out of 5, but with the caveat that I actively enjoy playing with my kids. Like, this is a game I play with my kids. It is way too light for what I'm looking for. It is way too simplistic, and so for me, it's not one that, I guess, impressed me, so to speak. I thought it was an okay game at best. I was hoping for more from the system, but I did have fun playing with my kids, so if I'm rating it from an experiential standpoint, I'd say probably a 3 out of 5. If I'm rating it purely from a mechanic standpoint, a 2.5 or less. It's just way too simple, way too straightforward. Do I recommend it? Yes, if your kids like Minecraft. I think you'll have a fun time. I think it's short enough that it's not too much of a burden, but I'm also not impressed with it at the same time. Moving on, we have Episode 2, Vengeance Roll and Fight over here. We're down to our last 3 minutes. We're cutting into the 10 seconds over there. But Episode 2, Vengeance Roll and Fight is coming to you from Mighty Boys, and this is going to be a roll and write game that has you wandering around the board as you gather various upgrades, rolling dice, trying to basically take down the various enemies as you desperately charge through the room. It's a very fascinating concept. It adds a little bit of freneticness to your roll and write goodness. It has both solo and competitive play. I've enjoyed this one. Did I rate this? I rated them all. Yeah, I've enjoyed this one, but I don't know if it stands out for me. It's probably a 3 out of 5 for me. It's one that I think I've had good plays of it, but it doesn't... I'm not drawn to play it. I want to like the system more than I actually like the system, if that makes sense. I like the concept of running around from room to room. It feels very John Wick. You're dashing around, you're shooting people, you're doing fun things, but I don't know. From a roll weight standpoint, I think I prefer other roll weights a lot more. I think I really wanted to like this game. I'm tempted to rate it higher, but no, I think it's a 3 out of 5 for me. I will never play this again, or probably not play this again, and I don't think I feel like I'm missing out. Then we have First in Flight. First in Flight, which this is really an opportunity for me to just talk about this now that it's arrived. I already have a full review on First in Flight. You can check it on the channel, but I covered it during the prototype phase, and this nice box arrived, and it's delightful and continues to be delightful. First in Flight is a game from also from Genius Games, from Artana Games 2. Same, I guess, parent company or something. But First in Flight is a push-your-luck game as you try to build your flying machine and try to fly as far as you possibly can around the board while constantly taking actions in a time-based system. So actions are going to cost you time, and you're trying to balance your time while ultimately trying to build a plane that will fly further and faster and get as many points as possible. It's a lot of actions, a lot of action management as far as the economy of your actions, while ultimately trying to build a plane that you can push your luck to drop further, draw another card, and hope to not crash and burn. It's a very fun system. I really recommend this. I gave this a 4 out of 5 way back when I covered the prototype, and I'd say my opinion has not changed. It has not gone down, it has not gone up. It is a solid 4 out of 5. I think First in Flight is a lot of fun, both educational, push your luck, and action economy, all bundled together in a nice little package. Which brings us for Lockup over here. Lockup from Thunderworks Games. This is a role-player tale set in the role-player universe designed by Stan Kodowski. This has you fighting over spots in a prison. You're all players in a prison, and what you're doing is you're taking your tokens and you're placing them both face up and face down into the prison to take various actions based on the specific rooms you're going to. The system feels very close to me, but when you actually play the game, it feels very rewarding. When you actually play the game, the little tenseness of trying to get to the right zone is a lot of fun. I actively enjoy this game. I think it's a lot of fun, but I think it's one of those weird ones where every time I play this, I've played this a few times now, and every time I play it, I have fun with it, but I don't find myself drawn to play it. Now, there is an expansion for the game, so that might change my opinion of it. I might, enhance my opinion of the game, but for right now, I think this game is a 3.5 out of 5. I think the decisions you take in the prison are a lot of fun. And when you actually go into the game, the headspace, the trying to mess with your opponents as you go through it, this one I'm going over a minute, I'm okay with that. The decisions, you're trying to get in each other's heads. You're trying to get in each other's heads a lot as you play through the game, and it really is very rewarding to go through. Meanwhile, you're trying to gather various prisoners and try to score as many points as possible. So ultimately, I've had a lot of fun with Lockup. I like Lockup. I think it's a great game. I just don't find myself drawn to play it, which is the interesting part. So every time I dive into it, I'm like, oh, that's good. I need to break out the expansion and play that. And then after that, I put it back on the shelf, and I don't think about it as much. So Lockup is a 3.5 out of 5. I wonder if the expansion changed my mind. For right now, it's a very good game that I find myself wanting to like more than I actually do, if that makes sense. That's what we have. We have 8 games on the table. We are at 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I went a little over on that Lockup. The nuanced aspect of how that plays out was a little bit too much for me. Because again, it is tricky. This is one... There's always tricky parts about rating games. Because I know my thoughts on a game, but when I try to put it into a camp of where a game falls, commonly I've said this in the past, the biggest range you'll see on this channel is between a 3 and a 5. Usually you don't see that much below a 3. It happens. I mean, like Minecraft happens a little bit, but not a ton. But for me, I think that 3s are games that are totally good, but I just don't care if I never play them again. 3.5s have a twinge of, there was enough happening that I enjoyed it, that I kind of, if I don't play it again, it's fine, you have to make choices, but I kind of wish I had more time for all the games. 4s are where you actively are games that I really enjoy, but sometimes even a 4 won't stay in my collection, it's just, there's too many great games. 4.5s are where I'm falling in love with you, and 5s are just straight up, I don't care, I adore you, and I have no, even if I have complaints, I love it. And so Lockup, I feel like, bridges to a 4, but I don't know, I'm just not excited about it, despite the fact that I actively enjoy it. Versus First in Flight is an easy 4, and the rest of them are mixes of 2.5s to 3.5s on this table. There you have it, 8 quick reviews, a minute apiece. I feel like a minute was pushing it to drop. I like the idea of the format, but I think maybe 90 seconds might be better next time. I felt like I was always just pushing it drop over, because I forgot I need to give you like 20 seconds of how the game plays, and then 40 seconds of opinion, which is just a drop too fast. In any case, then until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you found this video helpful, and as always, I hope you have a good one.